What's up everybody, Harvey here, the remote property investor. So, business bank accounts, what ones should you be picking for your business? How do you go about picking these? What difference does it make between one bank account and another bank account? So in this video, we'll be diving into what are the best accounts you should be setting up for your property business or any business in general, what difference does it make between them, and how you're going to be able to save £150 per year on your business banking transaction fees. And yes, you heard me right, some banks will charge you to have a bank with them. So the only cost this is going to cost you to save this £150 is you hitting that like button right now. But all jokes aside, with the like button jokes, you've got to pick a bank account for your business. Every business has this in common, you need a bank account. So what is the difference between these? So I'm going to go through a number of banks. Some of them will charge you fees, some of them are free, some of them have got transaction fees, some of them have not. Some of them have got some little cool processes in them, some of them have got real good protection. So let's go through these one bank at a time and look at some of the best ones that suit you. There's not one best bank for anybody, but there's some are more suited to other people's circumstances than others. And the first thing we're going to think about is whether or not you need a business bank account. So if you're a sole trader, so you've got a limited company, if you are limited liability partnership, or if you are a limited company, or if you're an LLP and you set up as a formal business, which is a business entity, you are going to need a bank account that goes with that. It's part of the criteria of setting up a business, an official business, is to have a bank account. But if you are a sole trader, this is doing business, but as a solopreneur, basically, as a sole trader, as a freelancer, this doesn't require having a business account. So you can set up a business account for a sole trader. So if you go into your bank and say, look, I'm doing business, but you set up in your personal name, they would still probably advise you to set up a business account, especially the banks that charge you a fee to do this. But you do not need to have this. In my advice to this is set up just a current account. So you could potentially set up one with the bank that you're banking with, or set up a current account with a new bank. I've got multiple banks. I'll share with you at the end what banks that I use. I will share some of them I use, some of my favorite ones. But I've got multiple banks. And the reason behind this is the FSCS protection scheme. So this is financial service compensation scheme. So all banks will compensate you up to 80, well, not all of them. That's why I'm saying look out for that in their small print. But banks will compensate you up to 85k of your money if things go wrong. So we have another circumstances like Northern Rock. Virgin stepped in and saved Northern Rock with the government. But if Northern Rock didn't get saved, people had money in their bank above 85k would have only got an IOU for the rest of that money and only would have been protected with an insurance-backed scheme for 85k of that money. Banks make this. I've opened up in the last sort of like 5 years, I've opened up many bank accounts, some physical ones, some online ones. We're going to discuss the difference between online and physical banks. And I've gone in to open some banks and they make this really, really clear that it's only protected up to 85k, which makes me a little bit worried sometimes. Also, you've got to think about, like in Cyprus, when them banks collapsed, their money wasn't protected, or it was only protected up to a certain amount. So this can and could happen. So for me, I like having multiple bank accounts and my money in different ones. Not that I've often got over 85k in my bank account, because when I have, it often goes straight back into another deal or back into my business or be invested in something. But that said, the dream is all of them are filled up with millions of pounds, 85k at one point, not millions, because I'll be keep on spreading that out, because I just do not trust the banks to hold my money if they do not trust to give me a guarantee above 85k. So let's start with Starling, winner of the British Banking Awards. This is a fantastic bank and a fantastic app. So a lot of these banks, especially these online ones, Starling is an online bank, and they're blending technology and kind of getting like these zeros. There is one that does this, but the zeros are QuickBooks. A lot of these talk to these, all of these talk to the banks and reconcile with those. But what some of these banks are doing is building these sort of accountancy softwares within them. And Starling's got some great features in there, like being able to upload your receipts and things like this straight into there. There's little sections in Starling that you can section off what this payment is for, what it is. So there's loads of little benefits and features with there. There is zero banking fee to Starling each month. There's no transaction fees. They also give an easy switch guarantee where they will switch your account over nice and easy, and they deal with it in the background. And if you go into the descriptions, there is a link for Starling in there. And by you using this link, I don't get any money for this particular one. There's no there's no sort of affiliation fee, but in that link, what will happen is they will plant a tree every time somebody signs up. So that's a great thing to the planet and a great reason to maybe look at Starling. But Starling is a great bank. Also as well, Starling's got this cool little feature on their app. Let's quickly show you something here. Starling's got this cool little feature. How do I compare business bank accounts? So if you go down onto here, this will compare all the different bank accounts, well, not all of them, but a load of the different bank accounts, and this will give you a little tick box on what they cover, what they don't cover in with their fees and everything. Yeah, let's have a little look through this app. So on here, look, you've got Starling and see what it covers. 0 transfer fees, 0 monthly fees, UK regulated bank, 24-hour support, guarantee switch, protected with the FSCS deposit protection up to 85k, multiple directors, these sort of things like multiple directors connecting to Xero or QuickBooks, in-app check depositing, which is really useful. Up to most of them up to about £500, some of them a little bit more now. But if you look at some of these things, but some of the things you've got to look out for, especially with a lot of the online banks, is overdraft facilities, credit cards. You can't often link credit cards to a lot of these, so Starling's hasn't. But as you can see here, Starling's got a lot of ticks next to him. If you go across to the next one, Monza, so Monza is another bank that I'm going to recommend. But if you go next to this here, Monza, if it's just a quick little scan through, has got a lot more red X's next to those. And if you'll go through there, look, Revolut and online banking. Revolut's great for international transfers. So again, maybe if you're thinking of Revolut, you can think of Revolut if you're going to use maybe VAs and foreign transactions. Philippines don't deal with Revolut, unfortunately, it's not in that country. But if you're doing international transactions, Revolut's definitely one to think about, because the transaction fees and the currency exchange is going to be a lot lower. But yeah, really useful part of the app. Next, we're going to cover Cash Plus Bank. They offer an instant online decision. Many will take you through a process where you apply online and it takes a little while to come back to you. They've got 0 banking fees for the whole duration, and the FSCS is protected as well, which is very important to know. Next, we're going to look at Tide, another online banking service. They've also got no fees, but they have got a transaction fee at £1.20. They never used to have the protection, so the FSCS protection. They never used to cover you that, but they've just recently got that fully protected status. One of the things you've got to think about is Starling do not allow group structures. So you've got to think about, do I need to set up as a group structure? Or am I set up as a business? As I said, am I set up as a sole trader? If you set up as a sole trader, you definitely don't want business accounts. But Tide will allow you to have a group structure as a holding company at the top of that structure, where Starling do not allow you to be in a group structure. As a result, if you're thinking of a group structure and you use Starling, you could potentially set up with Starling first and then set your group structure up afterwards, and then set it up if you really like Starling as an app. It's a little way around that. But if you go to them straight off as a group structure, Starling will not accept you. So a lot of traditional banks are trying to compete with these online banks because it's difficult for them to compete. You see banks shutting down all the time, and NatWest is no different. They've brought out a version called Melt by NatWest. It's a fully free service, very much like a lot of the other online services, and it's driven by a major high street bank, NatWest. So it's created by them, but it's their online version of NatWest. Virgin, again, they're all catching up with this and trying to bring their online version, is M-Money, which is, again, is totally free, up to £1 million worth of banking per year. But when you compare this to Virgin Business Current Account, there is a fee to that at £6.50 per month. But they do offer you a 25-month free period with this. Counting Up is one of them softwares I was talking about earlier on. They're trying to blend in a version of kind of Xero, so like QuickBooks and Xero. So it's going to give you some accountancy software within this. It does cost £3 a month as a result. You do get a 3-month period of free banking, but it's much more advanced on the functions and features that it's going to deliver for you on your accountancy side. And remember, especially in property, we're going to go completely digital-less, and we're going to have to submit our accounts every quarter very, very soon. So having Xero or one of these accounts, all these accounts, they do reconcile with Xeros and QuickBooks, but this one's offering you in one place so you don't have to have an outside party. Xero is around £10 a month, and so is QuickBooks. So if you pay £3 a month and this works well, this could give you a massive saving. I'm not going to go through all the banks individually, but you've also got like your Lloyds, your Barclays, your TSBs. All these offer versions. Most of these are paid. Some of them are coming to the market with their online versions and doing a free version, but most of these are paid. What you've got to think about the online one is depositing money. You need to deposit money. So if you've got a business that is cash business that you're collecting cash in, then that's going to be difficult. Property, if you're in property like myself, you don't collect really no money in cash, so you can do online stuff. Some of these free ones you've got to look at, they will charge you per transactions. Tide will do that, but some of them are just completely free as well. The ultimate question is, what should you use? I feel, as I said, if you're a sole trader, use a current account. It's going to be totally free anyway. Use one that's got good functions and good features on the app and they're easy to use. So the banks that I use Tide. There will be a link in for Tide also. If you go with this link with Tide, you will get to split £50 each, me and you. So if you sign up with Tide, we'll both get £50 each. So not only, because some of the banks will cost you £12.50 per month. So not only am I going to save you up to £150 per year and your banking fees, we could also split £100 together. So if you join Tide, Tide is the company that I use for my group structure. I also use Starling, both very easy to use apps. My favorite app that I use, as I said, I've got multiple businesses and multiple different banks. So I've got Barclays, I've got Virgin, I've got Lloyds, I've got NatWest and Tide and Starling, as I just said. Some of these banks as well, I've just got a savings account. So I've got a bank that I just siphon money in just for my everyday enjoyment stuff. I've got different saving accounts throughout these, but my favorite app out of all of them is the Barclays app. But they're all very, very similar. Most of the high street banks will link their apps to each other, so you can track your money across this one app. But the Starlings are probably most, and the online Tide ones are going to be free, and they're going to probably be a lot more easier for you to set up and much more quicker for you to access, where you have to go through a bit more of a process with the high street style banks. So hope you found that useful. Please check the description out for all the links of the different ones that we've recommended, and join Tide, and we get to split £50 each, or £100, £50 each between us. But listen, remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you never live in your own terms. Please like, subscribe, and share this out. My wife's living my terms. My mission is to help as many other people live in their terms. So please share this out if you found this useful. Comment below if there's any banks that I've missed off or the bank that you're using, and have a fantastic day.